with our new theme song here. Okay.
Yeah.
Going on mute.
This is fun. I like starting a podcast. I like starting a podcast like this where I'm not even prepared.
Can't hear it.
Great. This is so good. Your thing pop like this all the time. Because you know it's mine. Okay. Please stay. Please stay. Please stay. Please stay. Stripped. Wow, Johnny. Wow.
You got to put it
Johnny,
through
tip of the hat.
You got to put it through the stream. However you did when you moved everything over and put it up here, like the original theme
The video.
song thing. The video, yeah. You got to put it through the stream that way. So what did you do in the parking lot?
Well,
For free weed. What's this free weed story?
It's not as exciting as you want to think.
Yeah,
I met with the.
We'll be the judge of that.
Okay. I met with an owner of one of the farms who wanted me to try and review a couple of strains. So he was going to an event, and we met up, midway in a Target parking lot.
Nice.
I said, hello, 1976. I mean, it's not the first time I've done this, but it was just funny tonight. I don't know why.
I was driving in your area today. I was on Route 1 in Edison.
Yeah.
I was over by Anja.
I like Anja.
I was going to go in there. Then I realized that I didn't have any spending money with me. I just had lunch money.
And then down the street, there is Blackburn on the other side.
I saw that.
Yeah. And then you can keep going. There's 3 more.
Of course there is.
There's 5 dispensaries in Highland Park.
And there's only one in my town, but yet they have like 3 conditional licenses or something like that.
They're just holding. Well, Joy Leaf is, she does her thing. I reached out to her a few times. She does not answer.
No. I keep seeing her ads on Instagram, and I'm getting sick of them.
Of her rule.
There's a few people that do that. They just don't answer. And you know what? Just answer. That's all. Yeah. You could say, you know what? I'm not interested, or I'm busy. You know, but just ignore. I get that too. I know.
It's frustrating. But, sometimes 4 months later, all of a sudden, they'll pop up in your email. Sure. I've had that happen.
Well, I just was a little perturbed because they keep sending me emails saying, "Hey, thanks for coming into our dispensary. Here's a gift, a free gift for next time you come in, 10% off." And I go and use the 10% off coupon, and every single time or every coupon they send me, this offer is not valid or has expired. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all just sent this to me 5 minutes ago.
Wow. There's Mr. Miller.
There he is.
Do they have a loyalty program too?
Sure do.
Yeah.
It took me 3 visits before I got the free pre-roll that you were supposed to get on your first visit.
Really? This is how they do business?
Hold on.
They
Okay.
kept you coming back, right?
It's Miller time. It's the Miller Minute. It's Jim.
I love this so much.
This is like watching one of those Charlie Brown,
Yeah.
I was going for an Andy Griffin type theme when I wrote that one.
That was amazing.
I love that.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I just keep seeing Jim Miller with like a fishing pole walking down the road, just going wheeling like
Hey,
Cheryl in the other
I
hand.
do that.
I was almost arrested for whistling that song when Al Gore went to Bon Jovi's house and they were stopping traffic at the point where I was relegated, like about a 1/10 of a mile north of the house. And they had a state trooper there present, but they had a rent-a-cop turning cars around. Now, he did stuff like this. He'd go, and then when they show him a pass like through the window, he'd go like that, and it reminded me of Barney Fife. I got a picture of him. He was like 6 feet tall, but he was exactly built the same way, the profile.
Yeah.
How appropriate. Huh?
So what I did is I started going, whistling the theme song. Can't whistle at the moment. And then I'd stop and go, "Hey, Ange, I think I see him. So the state trooper, who was really big, I had to look up to him, walked over, smiling, goes, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to stop whistling." I go, "What? That song in particular?" He goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I go, "Why?" And he goes, "You know why."
You know why.
And then I said, "But what statute would that be? Interfering with an officer, dereliction of his duties, causing him to not be attentive to his whatever."
You're distracting him from traffic.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a first. Stop whistling.
Civil disobedience.
Yeah. Now that would have been good to not quit and get arrested for that. Why didn't I think? Well, I was with Gary Sage dropped Cheryl and I off, and then he had a park where he could park and then get a ride back. So like basically, I had no way to take care of her, and he had to get the car. I couldn't get. We weren't there to get arrested, but that would have been freaking brilliant though. Going to
Not
court
this time.
for whistling. I mean, if the guy can't handle somebody whistling and he's being used as a police officer, yeah.
Well, he was a rent-a-cop.
Yeah.
Hey, well, he did look that way. I mean, something. Was
And they're the worst.
well,
They're the wannabes.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
They're
They're like rental tuxedos.
It was, and we then of course later were ordered to leave from across from Bon Jovi's house by Secret Service. A woman and Joe Capriati, the head of Middletown Detectives, and I asked her what her name was, and she wouldn't tell me. And we were making fun of her. Oh, it's a secret. I didn't know we could keep secrets, And then Gary Stage put up his camera to take a picture, and she put up her hand, and he kept dodging her, taking pictures from different angles, getting her to look up and taking one down there. The good old days, huh?
Good old days.
And I'm just getting started now.
You're just warming up.
Oh yeah, the bomb should be sinking in about 10 minutes.
So what's everybody doing for Easter?
I'm going to my son's house.
Nice.
That's
What are
my
you doing?
birthday.
That's what?
That's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Happy birthday to we.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
gotta send you an Easter.
Hey, do us a favor. Make yourself a happy birthday song about you. Go ahead. You know, you
I
can
can
do
do
Yeah,
that.
that would be fun.
Right?
I can do
No,
that.
no, you should help us help you celebrate your birthday.
I can't do it right now, but I
No.
can do it later.
No, I mean, well, it's Easter, not Easter now.
So
Yeah.
do you get ripped off like us December babies? Like, here's an Easter gift and birthday
No,
present
because
at the
Easter
same
is
time?
always different. Easter
Yeah,
is
but
always
it's still the
different.
same,
Yeah.
I was born on
And-
Halloween. Nobody pays attention to that.
Yeah.
I don't get presents on
Yeah, but
Easter.
but when I was going to school, a lot of times we had off the week of my birthday for Easter. So
Oh,
I
that
had
was fun.
a vacation for my birthday.
That's
Yeah.
cool, yeah. Hey, June 20th, I was the last day of school twice in my life.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's my dog's birthday.
And the longest day of the year almost. So
That's true.
Hey, this year I had the Super Bowl on my birthday for the first time ever. That was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
But-
well, that's a good way to celebrate.
Hell yeah.
Did you smoke a Super Bowl?
A Super Blunt. They should have called it the Super Blunt. That's what it was.
And you got to watch all those fun commercials. That's awesome.
It's stoned as hell. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yes.
Yeah. I was at the Lions Club. The Lions Club in Bayonne had a Super Bowl party. So, yeah, that was a no-brainer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Lions Club is amazing. They help deaf and blind people. And now I got them to do wheelchair stuff in Bayonne. So now we're like an unstoppable force.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Bayonne is definitely not handicapped friendly.
No.
Facts.
No, it's really bad. And they sent me on a mission to the YMCA. I think I told you guys that. And their wheelchair access was awful. And I filmed the inside of it, and it was just ignorance all the way around. So we went to the council meeting, and the president of the Lions Club was a little taken aback at how assertive I was with the council. But I'm like, well, that's how you have to be.
Yeah.
And, they wrote a letter to the YMCA saying that they have to be able to utilize the elevator if you have a wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
ADA laws that you have to follow, and they have to use the elevator. The elevator is not being used by anybody except the janitor, which is insane to me.
Wow.
Yeah, people are living in fear. If you're in a wheelchair or you have a walker, they'll kick you out. You have to go to a nursing home because they don't want you there.
That's messed up.
It's crazy. So they're hiding in their rooms.
Uh-huh.
I guess that YMCA is pretty good, though. You want those rooms.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
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 You don't want to give that up, right?
Oh.
No.
So the group with the
That's
C.
the place to be. The
Right,
YMCA.
Yeah, but the C, that's like Christians. You got to act like a Christian if you're going to call yourselves a Christian. Or I would think. I don't know.
It's carved in stone. I mean, come on. Yeah.
I mean, I could be being judgmental, but I'm just noticing a fact is all.
Yeah, I'm a little judgy sometimes of the polarity in the church between the. It's actually very political. The church is very political. Most churches.
Yeah.
And
well,
honestly, they're a business.
yeah. Tax-free business.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Property tax fee, the big one too. You know.
So I'm very wary of who I listen to and who I.
And yet you listen to us.
And I listen to you guys, so I guess you guys are all right.
You're not that worried.
What the hell's wrong with you? You eat it.
I got my board back. I'm loving it. I got Barini. What else do I have on here?
Tom should be on in 10 minutes.
Ah, nice.
Former Tom. Your
Yeah.
guest.
So tell me about Farmer Tom.
Oh, let him tell his story.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
My problem is sometimes people's stories overlap and I forget which person is which, out of all the podcasts I've enjoyed. I mean, like, and I haven't seen, when I see the picture, I remember more, but I know enough not to bother looking to remind myself who Tom is, because I remember exactly how much I liked the podcast and
Farmer Tom. He's a good guy.
how easy it was. It had, but so most all of your guests are like that. I mean, up there to a degree,
Lefty, real quick, make sure you put that stuff in the freezer today.
Today.
Okay.
It's already almost tonight.
I've been eating the mac and cheese a lot.
Huh?
I've been eating a lot of the mac and cheese.
Oh,
it might
good.
not make it to the freezer. It might make it to his belly.
It may not make it. Sorry, it may get eaten tonight.
It's making its way to the microwave first.
Absolutely.
I'm realizing what I have. I moved into my place in Bayonne, and I have nothing. So I took all of our folding tables and chairs, and I'm using those up there now. It's very nice. And I realize I have no pots and pans to cook with.
Oh crap! Why didn't you tell me?
I have it. I have to get them. I have the really nice mixing board, the mixer. I have really nice pans. I have really good stuff that I have to get.
Why don't you have half of them?
Because it's at the other house.
It's at the other house.
And he needs the popo.
Why can't somebody? why can't
Because
you?
no one's allowed.
Yeah, I can't.
No
I can't
one's
even
allowed
talk
there.
about it. I can't even talk about it. I've court on the 15th. That's all I can say. I got court on the 15th.
Yep.
Well,
He's
What else
got
needs to
a
be said?
gag clause. He's got a gag clause in
I
it.
got a gag order on me. I can't say shit.
Well, listen.
Order what you need on Amazon. That's all. Do that.
I'm
good stuff.
The other problem is I'm broke right now because my car is still in the shop. The Jeep's going to be there one more day. I got the rental car for another day, which is, oh my God, it's $75 a day. It's been 5 days already on the second leg. The first leg was 3 weeks.
Oh man,
Getting killed here. Getting killed.
Yeah, I know.
Did insurance cover the rental? They should have.
It's not an accident.
No. You should be able. Your auto insurance should have a clause in there for a rental car.
It does, but for an accident.
Accidents only, Johnny.
Well, it was an accident.
Yeah,
you hit a pothole and your whole car just shut off. That's an accident.
An accident.
I like the way you're thinking there.
He could have missed the pothole.
None of what you're doing is on purpose. It's all
and it is considered an accident.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Johnny's right. Johnny's 100% right.
Yeah.
You want me to go hit your car with mine? I'll back up into it.
It might help.
I got full coverage. What do you need?
Where do you want it? Yeah.
Yeah, my ex was charged with an accident because they hit a pothole and it broke or messed up the axle.
I've seen that happen.
And it wound up being considered an accident. It's pretty common.
That
happened outside my house. I watched a car hit a pothole. The tire went one way, and the car kept going the other way. And then sparks were going down the street, and then the car stopped. And I'm like, "Hey, man, your tire's over there. Your ball bearings are over there, and your axle's over there."
I had damage to a car going through a pothole, and while I was changing the tire, I mean, it was drivable, but it had, it wasn't the same. 2 other cars hit it and pulled over. So momentarily there were 3 of us. And then I called, and I forget why they wouldn't cover it. There had to be like more attributed to that pothole or something. There's some weird thing, like 2 more cars, and felt like if I could have got 2 friends to go through it, we'd all get coverage or something. You know, that it's just a way to keep from paying, obviously. But
You got to go to the town or the town. You got to find out if it's a county road, a city road, or a state road, and then you got to go to that according department. Like that happened to me. I had a blown out tire from a pothole, and I had to go get one of those tort forms from the town to pay for it.
I was like maybe 19 or 20, and I didn't operate like that, thinking, hey, go to the town. You know, I just thought I'd go insurance. So I was so young.
Yeah.
Weren't we all?
You're still young.
Yes, we are.
I was so much older than I'm younger than that now.
I know that song well.
Yeah, I love that song. That's one of the 30 songs we play like every 2 weeks. We each sing a verse, and then there's a fourth verse that each one of the three of us sings part of it. You know, it's actually one of the favorite songs. I've always loved that song.
Nice.
Yeah. And plus the video of it on the 35th anniversary, Bob Dylan's 35th anniversary. What a great video if you look that up. I mean, they show outside people and all that, and then people walking in, like Chris Christopherson, the viewers to walk in who are, you know, and the whole beginning of the song, the way it just runs through it 8 times, you know, it's really awesome. Hey, the bomb's kicking in. Cool.
I need some for my hand. My hand's swollen.
No.
What'd you do?
Here.
I was driving on Route 1.
Hit a pothole?
No, it's just traffic.
Oh God, tell me about it. That traffic on Route 1 is ridiculous.
And then 27 on the way back because I went back that way.
And you got 2 Amazon facilities around there.
But I didn't have traffic by there. I just had traffic through by what is that? The hospital, Hackensack Meridian.
Oh, okay, JFK. Yeah.
Oh yeah, JFK. Sorry.
Okay.
Could have also been drumming on the steering wheel too.
Oh.
Or it could have been a pothole.
Yeah. One time I was doing some air drumming, and I accidentally hit the flashers on a car, and I didn't know where the flashers were. I had to pull off the road, but I couldn't just pull off to the side and look because I don't want somebody come. Oh, is there a problem, sir? You know, from police. So I turned down a side street to turn them off, and then I came back to a road that has a crossing spot across from the municipal hall. Kathy, where is that on Martin Highway? What's that township? Is that municipal hall? What? Hainesport, yeah. Now they have something I'd never seen in about maybe 8 years I've been going up and down that road. Is they have a thing going across the top that you can hit a button and these lights, yellow lights, start flashing so you can cross. It's to help you cross the road. Now, when I pull off to do anything, you know, so I'm not on the road, I'm very careful to know where to go when I turn around. Because sometimes, oh no, I can't turn around here. You know, so I think, of course, all I gotta do is turn around and go right. So I finally get my flashers off, and you know, it was the end of a fun ride, so I'm kind of having fun. And I turned a corner. Well, I didn't actually turn. I looked up and I saw the 2 flashing yellow lights, and it looked like a railroad crossing or something. I'm like, where am I? I mean, I seriously did not know what was going on. So with great trepidation, that's right, I said it, trepidation, I turned right. And, you know, when it finally came into view, I was like angry, you know. I mean, they should have a way bigger sign so I didn't even notice there was lights there. You know, this stuff has side effects. No crossing lights? Okay, let's see how it goes.
I've seen a couple of those places like that on the road where they have the raised intersection and the crosswalk and then the yellow lights.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
sometimes there's a race against the cough. It's coming,
Uh,
but you got to get on it quick. Yeah. No pots and pans. Man.
Yeah, it's a little rough. So I'm figuring out all the stuff I need, which is
Toaster? You got a toaster?
I have a microwave. Oh, here is our guest. There he
Nice.
is.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, how's it going?
How are
Howdy.
you?
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Nice to see you guys. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Now our
see you
Brady
again.
bunch is full.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll look down at you
I look over
and
here.
up at you and over here.
And John and they go back and forth and up or down.
So how are you? Tell me about yourself.
Yeah, Liz
I'm-
never met you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've never met you.
Okay.
We have.
I'm Liz from Liz Lights Up. I run and I own a senior cannabis education.
Nice.
community.
I'm all about it.
Us, we're the OGs.
Seniors rule. I've been pushing seniors
Senior drool.
on podcasts. Like they're the real, the seniors are like the biggest or one of the biggest groups interested in cannabis these days.
They are the number one growing demographic in the industry and the fastest growing as well. And they're the most undereducated.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I promoted that back when I was on, let's see, Tracks Across America. It was a series put out back in the day, but yeah, no, seniors are great. All my neighbors, now that their responsibilities are done, their kids are grown, they're retired, they don't have to pee test. They're definitely all about it.
Oh yeah, they
You know,
are. But
they
a lot
smoke-
of them still don't want their neighbors to know. They're still in the closet.
Well,
Oh,
they just don't want to share. That's all.
Oh,
Yeah, it's definitely there's still some sort of stigma out there, that's for sure.
yeah, and I'm trying to break that as well, because
Me
Good
too.
luck.
we are the OGs.
Oh yeah, no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
Now you got all these different mechanisms when we just popped holes in a soda can.
Right? Yeah.
That be that complicated. I don't need an app.
I've done that.
Easy to disguise as hash. You just crimp it over and throw it in the back.
Yeah.
Oh.
So tell me about you.
Wow, where do I start?
Wherever
I've been-
you want.
Like I've been
Beginning usually
smoking
works.
since 1972. I started growing in 73, 74. I was a landscaper in San Diego. We had plenty of cannabis crossing the border. I smoked some one summer with some friends of mine, and I knew that it was going to change my life. And so what I did from there is I went home and I went down to the shady house at the bottom of the hill and bought a Folger coffee can full of weed and decided, hey, I've got to be able to have access to this. So I forced myself to roll it all into joints, and I started selling the joints and giving them to my friends and smoking them. And that's kind of, the way it started. After that, there was an outdoor cannabis market in San Diego in La Mesa, a place called Mount Helix. It's kind of a nice neighborhood, but at the top they had an amphitheater, and San Diego was like all rocks. So the amphitheater was constructed out of rocks, and it was a one-way street up and a one-way street down, so you could see the cops coming up. So when somebody would see the cops coming up, they would whistle, and then everybody had their rock that they would move out of the rock wall, put their stash in there, and then put the rock back in. And just kind of stand there and whistle and
Right. Rocking and rolling, man. Awesome.
Oh, that's great.
So
That
Tom, what are
stone
you
was
up to now?
stoned.
What's going on with you now?
What am I doing now? I'm in the process of getting my cannabis social equity license in San Diego County. That stems from my arrest in '99, where Steve McWilliams and I got arrested for 448 plants. We had a collective garden. We were all inclusive. I kind of looked at ourselves as the Noah's Ark of cannabis collectives. We had every race, creed, and color, and pretty much every illness out there, from AIDS patients to quadriplegic patients to pain to glaucoma, arthritis, you name it. We had 20 patients. I was the grower. And I'm with my current partner because of that raid. We were very active in San Diego back then. We used to go to the town council meetings all the time, and our quadriplegic would I would tie the Flexi Fire wagon, and we'd fill it up with 4-inch plants, and we would go to the town council meetings and put it on the stand and tell the town councilors how safe cannabis was as they rolled their eyes.
Wow.
And then they busted us, and the mayor couldn't come out. And well, through that, the media would always come up and say, cannabis is a hot topic. Any one of you guys get busted, give us a call right away. Back then it was pagers. So what we did, we recognized what Brownie Mary did when she got busted, and NBC was at her house. We go, oh, we're going to collect all of these pager numbers, and everybody had the pager list, the list of media pagers. And so that day, my partner Paula, who we've been together for 27 years now, she saved my life at that day. And at that moment, I knew that I needed her with me for the rest of my life. And here we are. They didn't press charges. The mayor couldn't come out. After we got arrested, we went back to the next town council meeting with our 4-inch pot plants again. And the mayor couldn't come out. It was all over the newspapers. It was kind of the start of cable news stations. So what they would do, they would extract the top stories out of the local ABC, NBC, whatever, Fox, and then they would replay them. So literally they were replaying me getting stuffed into a cop car for like 4 or 5 days.
Awesome.
So,
That's great.
And there were no charges in the end.
Well, in the end, Normal gave us, since we were so high profile, and Steve was really high profile. He's basic trustafarian guy. His parents just paid him to stay away. They paid for the whole apartment building. They had more money than they knew what they could do with. They paid for the whole apartment building where we grew and our collective was. And
wow.
Yeah, and when we got busted, his mom bailed us out, and she called and apologized to me for, Steve. And so, they really didn't want me. They really wanted Steve. At one point, they told me you could go. And I said, no way, I'm not going anywhere. We've got everything in place. We've got all the recommendations here. We're playing by the rules that were given to us in the early Prop 215 days.
Oh, wow.
And so we had all the paperwork on the wall, and then I would grow and hang the plants up. And the deal was you bought a light if you could afford it. And then we paid $50 a month to kind of keep us the nutrients and such. And then the patients could come and take what they needed that week. So that's kind of how it was. It was basically an honor system that we put up. It was like the true meaning of a collective garden. I mean, after a while, it got a little out of hand.
Of course.
Sure.
How'd that happen?
Well, the money handlers came in and they all wanted to make money, and we really didn't care about the money part.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure patients had their medicine or their therapeutics, which everybody likes to say these days, had their therapeutics, and so they could, be healthy and feel good and all the things that go along with consuming cannabis.
Wow.
Well, thank you for
So
all that.
now, since then, I helped change the laws in Washington State. They were going to make all concentrates illegal except for in edibles. And back then, we were having all these major explosions, BHO explosions, all across the Pacific Northwest. And so I've been, me and my wife, after the arrest, we always just played by the rules. So during the transition from it being voted in, I-502 here in Washington being voted in, and when it actually happened, I didn't do the gray market. We play by the book. So we invited all the news media here. I had NBC Nightly News. I was on Squawk Box. I've been featured in endless magazines. I just got out in front of it, I bet, once you get busted, you're an automatic advocate because the worst thing that could happen to you happened. And I'm all about, if I'm dealt lemons, I'm all about making lemonade. So that's what we did, after. So what we did is during the explosions at Matt Markovich, he said, will you do an open blast? That's the old school way and how people were blowing themselves up. At that time, we just started getting the closed loop systems. We had butane hash oil was a big deal, but being an advocate and working with state governments, I knew that they don't know anything, and you really can't expect the legislators to know everything. So it's our responsibility to educate them on what's going on and the plant, and just educate them on whatever topic. So what I suggested to Matt is, what we're going to do is I'm going to put on a 3-hour symposium or seminar, teach you everything about cannabis concentrates, because back then all they thought BHO was it. They didn't know about regular water hash. They didn't know about RSO. They didn't know, about a lot of the different types of concentrates, solventless that was out there. So what we did is we showed them everything, and we did a BHO outdoor blast like it should be doing under like a tent, and then we did a BHO with the recycler. I recaptured the gases, closed loop system, and then we did some bubble hash. And I knew that the legislators would see it, and once they saw it, because when I got the group together, I usually don't do things by myself. It's not my show, you know what I mean? I want to bring the best people in the industry that I know, and then give a full presentation. And my word to the group was, well, look, if they don't tax us and regulate us, we're going to see more explosions. So if the camera gets in front of you and it's asking you a question, this is what you should tell them, because it's true. It's $100 fix, right? You buy a glass tube, tie wrap, coffee filter, Pyrex bowls, little stovetop burner, and you're blowing stuff up all over the place. So they got the message, and within 5 days, they had changed the whole program, and we're going to legalize that. That got the attention of the union guys, which got me in to be the first guy to work with any federal agencies. So, and so I work with the scientists from the CDC and the NIOSH scientists, Workplace Health and Safety. So in Colorado, and I think that must have been in 2013 or so, the Colorado police were going in and busting all these large operations, and they were afraid of black mold. So the Obama administration put money up, so it was a federally funded study, and they came to my farm. So when I first got on the phone with the 10 agents from the CDC, I asked them, where are you guys getting your information? They said, oh, we're getting it from YouTube. And I was like, what? I go, why don't you guys come out and I'll give you the tour of all my friends' facilities. And then they got back to me within a couple of weeks and said, no way are our lawyers going to let us do that. But we can do is we can make your farm a secure location where federal agents can learn, touch, and study cannabis. Are you down? Sure. Oh, we're going to have to do a deep background. I said, dig deep, because I want to know. And so I passed the mustard, and they showed up in August 10th and 11th of 2015, and we gave them 2 days of solid information on cannabis. The first thing I wanted to do, which I knew their next stop was the Mayo Clinic, what I wanted to do was consume cannabis in front of them the whole time. So we did. We smoked cannabis, we did dabs, we rolled joints, everything. They went out to dinner with us, and I like to smoke halfway through my meal. I like to dip outside, get a couple good ribs, come back in and finish my meal. That's just the way I like to enjoy my meals, part of the way that I like to enjoy them. And so they saw everything, and these guys are still my friends today. They're calling me, we want to do a test at some sort of, a drying facility or a processing facility. And then I'll introduce them to some of my friends and see if they're open to it. And they either do it or they don't. But they're still good friends of mine. And they were in the room when the CDC 2 years ago said that cannabis has medicinal benefits. For me, that was massive. That was like one of my gold stars. After that, when the study was published, we got the federal government to use the word cannabis instead of marijuana. That hadn't been done before. My talking points to the scientists were going, look, you're using a slang, racially discriminatory term, marijuana, instead of using the proper terminology, the proper vocabulary, So at that point, they also called me an organic farm and said that I grew organic cannabis and vegetables, which really pissed off all of the clean green guys and all the people promoting some sort of a stamp of approval that you grow organically. So, and then the study since it was federally funded, sits in the Library of Congress. So that's pretty much the highlight. I've taught college classes. I had a school, Hemp Farming Academy. We train people around the world. I've taught a lot of classes. I went on a tour right before COVID, Hemp Farming 101, where I did 2 scale. We grew 58,000 plants on 50 acres, like high grade. We harvested 30,000 pounds of flour. You can go to my Instagram, Farmer Tom Lauerman, and check that out. Or you can go to my website. I don't know if it's on my website or not, but it's on my Facebook page too. On the stories underneath there, the different stories. It shows all the pictures of it. But yeah, awesome. We did 58,000 plants. And
how do you trim all that?
How do we trim it all?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, my job was just to grow it, and I never get into that side of it.
Okay.
Because I know from it, there's always something that's going to go wrong. There's always something, and when I work in the cannabis space, you pay me up front and then I'll work, because I have no time to chase people around trying to get money out of them, right? If they want me, they're more than happy to pay me up front. If they don't, that's like a red flag. So a lot of people come back, oh, that's not how we do business. And I say, well, your way's not how I do business. If you want me, here I am. Here's my price. Send me a check. As soon as the check clears, then we can talk again, and I'll work with you through the whole process. So I've done plenty of those opportunities over the years. And so right now I'm working on my through my arrest in San Diego, we had the opportunity, since we're a victim of the war on cannabis, to be a part of the San Diego County Social Equity Cannabis Program. And I was accepted for being arrested for 448 plants. And then in January, I've been going down to a few of the classes. They had them every month, but due to cost constraints and other obligations, I couldn't make it to all the classes. But I did get to go to the classes, and I went to meet with the supervisors a few times, and I kind of told them, like, this is a really good thing. Even if they don't run a business, the education these guys are giving them is the ability to run any type of business, which is huge. And that clicked, and they go, wow. So if they don't get a cannabis business, they got the education to run any business, car wash business, landscape business, screen printing, whatever, insert business, restaurant. And so, yeah, that's what I do. I still do a lot of advocacy. I'm starting a group called T3 Ag. And basically it's me and Adam Dunn and a couple other OGs who have been around, and we have products that we recommend or sell, and we do consulting and those types of things. We're getting it off the ground, but if you go to t3ag.com, it's out there. I think the website's up. It should be up right now. But anyways, that's what I'm doing right now. We have a AI system. Some guys that we're working with, Drew, he's out of Minnesota. He's a world-class grower. And one of his childhood friends is the top AI guy for Meta and Facebook. And they've been working on this project for the last 5 years. And pretty much it can control everything from your phone or your laptop. And it learns as you're going. So it keeps track of employees. It keeps check dates. With your metric key, you can plug in. It'll keep track of all your plants. There's an insurance plan in there that you own and control your own insurance plan, crop insurance. And the AI system picks up that this plant died, and then it automatically goes in and works the magic, and you get compensated for that plant or whatever else goes wrong. Nice. So it's really organizes the grow really well. So you put probes in the water, in the mixing tanks, make sure the pH is right, the ppms are right, everything, the temperature's right. It has probes in the soil to keep track of EC, temperature, moisture. You got it hooks up to the environmental controls in each room, and it hooks up to the lights and the dehues and everything, and it keeps track of it. So say you're growing Blue Dream, right? And it's in room C3. And once you get the optimum grow, the optimum production that you're looking to get from that specific variety, you can save that program, and then it'll automatically run that program. It'll keep the humidity the same in the room, the moisture content in the plants, the mixing tanks that have the right pH and the right ppms, and it takes the guesswork out of it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I saw something like that in one of the indoor farms here in New Jersey, where they had all the tubes and the probes, and they had these big tanks, and everything was computerized, and it monitored everything, the lighting, the humidity, just like you're saying.
Is it robots, hotbots yet, or is that?
No, it's not robots yet, but it really takes the guesswork. They really don't want to pay growers. You know the deal. They bring the grower in who's got 30 years of experience. They have the helper guy watch them do everything. The grower that was making $100,000, they exchange it for a guy that's making $20 an hour. That's American capitalism.
That's America for us.
And it's criminal, and it really takes advantage of all these growers. Thus, that's why I get paid up front before I do any work. One of the many reasons.
I hear you.
Because if you don't get paid up front, guess what? You're not getting paid. And that's American capitalism. I mean, you can look from the top down of our country. These are the way all these people do business. Mm-hmm. They don't care about human beings. All they care about is money and profits. And they go, oh, the investors. Oh, our CEO needs to make, exponentially more than the average worker, and all this happy horseshit that they've been trying to feed to us, that they can rationalize it because they're living a good life. But you look at everybody else out there, and like right now, everybody's hurting. So that's why we started T3 Ag, because we're a bunch of OGs and we put in our time and we vet all the people that we associate. We've got a veganic fertilizer mix. We got the best cocoa at a really good price in bags, so you can get bags of cocoa and just hydrate them and then put the nutrients in them and then put a probe in there. And we're a part of, with Adam Dunn and Tim Payton, we're a part of the Humble Hippos, which is an OG. It's an OG. They're all breeders. So it's an OG breeder suppository where all their genetics are in there. And then they take tissue culture samples and they send them to a facility that we work with who supplies all of the flowers for Disneyland and all the Disney locations around the country, all the different flower varieties, like on Main Street and all the exhibits, they're all kept in tissue culture. The trick with tissue culture is once you get it going, it's nice and everything, but it's hard to harden those plants up so they'll stand straight up. Well, these guys have 30 years, in the industry and doing exactly that. So they had no problem getting the plants. So what the plan is, you're going to get on some sort of subscription. What the facility does is it cleans up the genetics. It gets rid of any hop laden or any kind of systemic issues. It puts in a marker in there for traceability to make sure the breeders who spent all their time creating all these old school strains can keep their strains and make sure other people don't use them. And so together we've got pretty much a full service deal where if you call us up, if you're having issues or you're a new facility, give us a call. We've got decades proven production methods down pat. And like we have a grower in Mississippi who just started, he uses all of our gear in a small state like Mississippi's organic grower. He sells out. His current crop in there is already completely sold out. And it's so good that instead of COD, it's CIA, paid in advance, cash in advance, CIA. And really for people who are out there doing business, especially growers especially growers, you need to have that in place, because that's another huge issue you see out in the industry is these retail locations, you got to chase them around, and if you have a product exceptionally better than all the rest of the products out there, using our group's, intellectual property and just experience with the plants, you're going to succeed. So many of these companies, the investors get together and they go, oh yeah, my cousin, he grows in his closet or he grows a couple plants, and you throw that guy into a 200 life facility and it's a shit show. They have no comprehension of what to do. And thus they get, after a couple runs, they lose huge percentages of their crops. Of course, the investors want to use the cheapest nutrients and the cheapest inputs and the cheapest lights. And it doesn't work like that. You're going to, quality, fire in, fire out. What I mean by that, there's a term I came up with back in the day when we were making hash. The best cannabis flower you put in there, the better the hash is going to be that comes out. So fire in, fire out, and that's the same goes with any type of cannabis business out there. You put the best nutrients and everything in there, you're going to get a quality product. If you know what you're doing, you're going to get a quality product out the other end. So,
and what was the website again?
It's T3 Ag.
T3AG.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Farmer Tom, I forget how old you were when you first smoked weed. I think you were one of the younger ones on our list. I'll say 11. I'll say you were 11 because I was 12.
No, I was like, I was born in 60. I think I was 12 going on. Yeah, I was 12 years old going on 13. And then I was a landscaper when I was growing up. So we had all these seeds coming across, and I had bags of compost and plastic buckets. And I'm all, oh, if I could plant that vegetable seed, I can plant this cannabis seed. And then you're off to the races.
Cannabis seeds are fun to grow.
Yeah. I've got a pretty good, after being in it for so long, I've got a pretty good collection myself.
I got some seeds from the dispensaries in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few. I was shocked.
Oh.
That's not supposed to happen. And
No.
how did when New Jersey started the medical cannabis program back in 2013, where did they get the seeds from? The seed fairy?
Yeah.
The seeds were not illegal to get across state lines, but somehow they had seeds in New Jersey.
Senator
Well,
Scutari got them.
Yeah, you could buy seeds online for such a long time. It was a novelty product, you know. They would put it in with some matches or something like that, or maybe a rolling paper. So you bought the rolling paper, and then you were gifted the seeds. And back in the day, that was the workaround. Sensi seeds, Barney seeds, they all did similar things.
They used to put the seeds in the middle of the CDs.
Right? Yeah, there was plenty of workarounds. That's one thing as cannabis folks have been good as when they give us laws, we're good at finding out the workaround.
New Jersey's always good at defending against workarounds for their rules until they needed to start legal medical cannabis growing. It somehow had an immaculate conception somewhere because they didn't break any laws, but they did the end around like they wouldn't let other people do. So, you know, that really was a point of contention in the beginning to point to how they would do business compared to how we go about things towards the same direction, you know. And
back in the day, every bag of weed we got had plenty of seeds.
Oh yeah.
Seeds and stems.
They came free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
they did.
Lefty asked questions of guests, and you've been here before, so I don't remember your answers, but you answered his first one when you were first beginning tonight. You know, we got a good idea about when. And I forget, well, one, I forget what you would answer to the others, but two, I forget why I was even telling you about this.
Well, why don't you fire away with the questions and I can rifle through them.
Tom, where are you now? Are you in
I live in Brushbury, Washington.
Oh, okay. You're in Washington.
So I left San Diego and I moved to Washington State. And as luck has it, Washington and Colorado were the first two states to legalize. And I'm from San Diego, which is probably one of the most competitive counties in the nation. You know, there's a ton of rich kids and all the smartest people want to move there because the weather's great. And so competition was fierce. And after I got rated, I decided, you know, my friend's mom said, move up to Washington. You guys will do fine there.
Where in Washington are you?
Yeah, I live in Washington State, and I live outside of Portland, Oregon, outside of Vancouver, Washington, in a little place called Brush Prairie, Washington.
Okay. I have a son that lives in Port Orchard.
Port Orchards? Yeah, nice. No, I love it up here. I love the seasons. I did 40 years in San Diego with, 72, 73, sunny for 300 days of the year. And it got really old. I really like the seasons because for me, the way I grow, I follow the sun. I grow in greenhouses. open-sided greenhouses, not your commercial type greenhouses. And basically, it's just to keep the rain off before harvest season. And so I'm able to control the light. Usually in the greenhouses, we'll run a light shade cloth all summer so the plants don't get too leggy and too big. And then as soon as they start to flower, we pull the shade cloth off and let them finish off. And then when the rain comes, we're not really worried about it.
Yeah, I think people are under the impression that Washington gets a lot more rain than you do. We actually get more rain in Jersey than Washington does.
Really? Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it just stopped raining here a couple hours ago.
It's been raining.
We had some massive rains the last few days where you get these pineapple expresses that come out of Hawaii, and it just the skies open up and it doesn't stop for 3, 4, 5 days.
Oh wow!
Love pineapples.
Right.
Yeah,
next question.
Nice state, though. It's in that.
What's your favorite munchie food?
What's my favorite munchie food? Oh, I grow some really nice apples, and we dehydrate them, and then I put some lemon like lemon chili pepper on top of them, and they're straight up fire. I love them, man.
I remember because we asked a farmer what your favorite munchie food is, and he just started naming off all the fruits and vegetables that he grows. I'm like, yeah.
That really reminded me as well, right away. I know but there was a little extra on this answer too, a little spicing it up. But
here I'm going outside. I'm going to show you guys my little food forest I've got out here.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Wow.
So I've got an exotic fig collection. The flowering is a plum. It's a sugar plum. I've got some cherry trees over here. I got a new pear tree that I put in this year. Every year I add a new fruit tree. That's what I like to do. We just don't grow cannabis here. We grow food. For us, it's a lifestyle.
Sure.
It's a cannabis organic lifestyle, but we grow plenty of food here, especially these days with the political climate and the world's going upside down. More reason to grow your own, You got a tight knit soup. I could have lived in Humboldt, or I could have lived in Southern Oregon and Williams, and there was just too much drama there. Me and my wife goes, we're going to go find a nice place in Washington. So we did, and we live right in the middle of a pretty conservative area. But, it didn't take but a year or two. They all knew I grew weed. The cops knew I grew weed. I mean, I was all over the news media and stuff like that, but they really don't care. I'm not running weed, I'm not a baller. I don't run hundreds of pounds. For me, it's about keeping my own health mentally and physically, keeping my stress level under control, and eating clean, healthy food. And, we do a lot of pretty much everything. My neighbors on one side have cows. My neighbors on the other sides have pigs and chickens. I've got like 8 acres in the back in the field where I've grown vegetables. I do CSAs, community supported agricultural boxes. I've done them before. I don't do them anymore. And actually back in the medical days here, we did like cannabis CSAs. So they would pay us half up front, come visit their plants. We'd ask for like an article of their clothes or something that was special to them, hang it out in the greenhouse. Then at the end of the season, they would pay us the rest of the money and get the rest of their product. Mm-hmm. So I've always I loved agriculture. I love growing anything, being a landscaper since I was a kid. And cannabis and food.
What does an article of clothing do?
Oh, excuse me?
I'm sorry. What does an article of clothing do?
Well, whatever the person's essence is, or one of their favorite things, kind of has their energy vibe on the clothing. I don't know if it's kind of a woo-woo thing, but it makes the patient feel more connected to the garden, knowing that something special or an article of clothing or whatever they want to put in there, like their essence is in the garden through the whole growing period. And I believe that the plants are really super intelligent, and they grow for the people that are around them.
Yeah, if it was an animal, the animal would know the scent. So
yeah, that's 100% true. And plants are living. The other question I wanted to ask you, I have heard a lot about music with cannabis plants, and they say that classical music and heavy metal are the two genres of music that the plants respond to, and they say it can have up to a 20% increase in what the plant produces. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, we've done it in the past. My life's been pretty hectic. I don't do it so much now anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a greenhouse that's basically our propagation greenhouse. Or I've got a greenhouse inside of a greenhouse that I do all my seed starts in, and then I grow them before they're planted in the ground, both my cannabis and my vegetables. And that generally has music in them. I think the radio died a couple years ago that was in there. But yeah, I've heard about it. I think there's probably some validity to it. I think the most important thing is you grow the plants for the love of the plant, for love, for care for your family, care for anybody that's consuming your cannabis, not for profit. When you start growing for profit, you're cutting every corner to make more profit. That's American capitalism. It's American capitalism, if you haven't noticed, has kind of hit the wall, right? I mean, the prices are so expensive on everything. I've been thinking for the last couple decades, well, how do we sustain this? And how long is it going to last before the investors and the CEOs skin so much money off the top that they've cheapened the product down, they've cut every corner, they've had all these byproducts, they've cheapened it to the ground. Like my wife just ordered some Levi's for me, and she picked up the bag and she says, "There's no Levi's in here." And you get a pair of Wranglers and they're paper thin now. Wrangler Levi's.
Yeah,
and all that has to do with is the profits that they're collecting, right? You gotta give the consumer junk so the rich people make more money.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are. We've hit the wall because the consumers can't. People wonder why in New Jersey the people aren't going to the beach or to the shore, like you guys like to call it back there. People aren't going. All those tourist towns are dried up on the West Coast. All the tourist towns are drying up. Now AI is coming in and it's displacing all kinds of people, and the system that they set up for us is like every 4 weeks, you got to come up with thousands of dollars to keep your property going or to be able to be housed. So that's why we have a huge homeless issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's all greed and it all comes from the top. And the only thing that's trickling down is poverty and disparity.
Mm-hmm. Even the fast food restaurants here are starting to have an AI speak to you at the drive-through speaker.
Really?
Yeah, Burger King had it and Taco Bell had it, I heard.
Yeah, well, all those things. And if you go to those places, you can't afford to eat at Taco Bell anymore. You can't afford to eat at Burger King. I mean, McDonald's, like the Happy Meal or a meal, whatever it is $15.
They price out the people that they started their business for.
Who can do that? Yeah, they start their businesses to make the most money possible. But I mean, I have thoughts on this all the way from birth. You give somebody 100 vaccines, they're going to end up with issues. right off the bat. Kids have to have like 35 vaccines.
You're speaking like to people in New Jersey, which is the state, in my opinion, in the entire country, who always wants a slice of the pie of everything they can get their fingers onto. And when it comes to health care and being able to consume cannabis, and patients can't afford it as it is, and it's too expensive, that we are the only state that does not allow its patients to grow their own in the entire country out of all the states that have legalization even, so like, I love hearing what you have to say, because all of that is possible in what relates to my concern, patients and their availability to this. It's nice to know it's only in New Jersey. It would really suck if it was the rest of the country too. But
yeah, they still allow medical patients to grow in Washington, but we don't have home grow. So my theory is there. Once the state legislators, so Washington was one of the first 2 states, and when I was walking the halls, I heard is, "We didn't ask for cannabis. Why are you doing to this? We don't want this." Blah, 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 blah. After the first year, they had like $800 million of sales, and Washington State is 32% tax on anything that leaves the store.
Wow.
They'll never get rid of their greedy hands. We'll never, ever say that again. They're probably kicking themselves in the head that they even said it in the first place. The amount of money they get, everything's follow the money. My grandpa told me this when I was a kid. You want to get to the bottom of anything, follow the money all the way to its source, and then you will find out the reason why that situation is.
Mm-hmm.
This whole country is about money, 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 money. All the way to the top. And there's freaking, they don't care about people. They don't care about, are they doing anything about the chronic homeless issue across this country? Anything? Do you hear one word about it?
No.
It's insane.
No, because we have a war to fund.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And the war is all about money, too.
Well, there's an incursion. It's a very expensive incursion. No, excursion.
Well, war's always been profitable. We've read this in the history books going through college and school. War's the most profitable thing out there.
Yeah.
So, if you want to make ammunition and bombs to kill people, I mean, how horrible is that? I mean, how do these people sleep at night, for God's sakes? That's what gets me. How do they can rest on their heads? A lot of them use the excuse, "Oh, I'm doing it for the children, my children. I got to make sure the children, my children, live a comfortable life."
Well,
you know what?
Donald Trump it's a bullshit excuse.
Trump said something, just today when he was, or maybe it was last night. I don't know. I don't fucking watch the guy, but about childcare, and he said we can't afford childcare. We're having a war on live television.
And some people who can't sleep at night because they sleep during like cabinet meetings.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, yeah.
Because
they take Ambien.
Yeah, but then that would only be people that knew what guilt felt like. So,
he's destroyed any movement that he started. Like I live in a conservative area, Southwest Washington State. Portland's really liberal on the other side. Washington's more conservative. We don't have the taxes that they have over there. We don't have any state income tax, although they did pass the millionaire taxes in Washington State, which is already driving all the top money guys out of the state. Yeah, it's a sad situation. But what my point was used to see the guys with the flags coming down and the Trump flags and stuff like that. Now I see the same guys with FDT flags driving up and down the street. Serious. I'm serious. We're seeing it here,
I used to see a Trump bus going up and down the Parkway in New Jersey. I haven't seen that in quite a long time.
Well, he screwed over his base. People should have listened to what the man said. He goes, well, if I ever run for president, I'm going to run as a Republican because those people are dumb as rocks, and you should have listened to him. I think all parties are criminal. I think all politicians are criminal. All of them.
I do too.
They're every stinking one of them. They're all about
100%.
money grubbing. They're all of, it doesn't really have anything to do with the people. They justify it. Oh, we've got to make enough money so we can fund our campaign, and then all the backdoor deals that go down in politics. And
Oh God, yeah.
the reason they got into politics in the first place wasn't for the people. It was all to line their pockets.
And that they do so well.
Yeah.
Well, some of them go in with good intentions, but then they're the same ones that get blockaded, and they don't get anything accomplished because they're not on the team.
There was a guy that ran exactly on this. It was probably 25 years ago, Arizona or New Mexico, I forget where, and he was true to his word. He never got any important committee assignments, never got any bills passed, and got defeated just for that 2 years after he was elected. So he was totally inconsequential as far as getting anything done, because that's all he wanted to do, is get things done and get it done right. So that really turned my head around, and it hasn't gotten better, it's gotten worse. Well, I didn't. Okay, the contract with America in '94, nobody was going to be in more than 6 years. 8 for a senator, whatever, and almost everybody found something out amazing, that they were in the middle of doing some really good work and had more to do. I couldn't believe anybody believed it in the beginning. So when I see a title of something Trump says, I do not waste my time. I really don't. I find other ways to find out what he says, because it's almost like, why would I listen except for to try to figure out how it's going to go a different way around, like a puzzle. So anyway, but it is interesting. I got to say, never did I turn into the news to see what's new today and see if the Earth is still spinning on its original axis,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I want to also say, doing the show here, you have a very balancing effect on me in particular, just because everything you say mitigates somehow what I'm hearing more nationally. There needs to be a balancing effect. And, I'm not being kind saying you're the real deal. You are. And it's good to be reminded of that every now and then, that there are some good on point people helping balance it out. So thank you for your service.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I mean, I try to, bring it wherever I go, because it's what I see and learned out there from a young kid, just watching trends and the garbage they feed us, and just everything is horrible. And now we've hit a wall, and now we're into a war that we can't get out of. And I don't know, it's all pretty sad, and it's all on the shoulders of the American people. And doesn't seem like they really care about the citizens of the country. They'd really rather care about other countries, and and these neocons, Democrat or Republican, they'd love to get us into wars constantly.
You can outrun your mistakes in business a lot when you can keep ahead or make lateral moves, and you usually can with the mistakes that are being made and the explanations being given. I've never seen such an accelerated time rate between believing this and going, holy shit, because it takes either days to weeks. And when you do that week after week to somebody who was a firm Trump supporter, these body blows, a lot can't take it forever, and that's why you're seeing what you were describing. People like forming "I was wrong" groups and stuff, like support groups, podcasts, and things. But it's in such an accelerated pace. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid. This one's being ripped off quick. And it will reach a point where the pushback will be sufficient to gain yardage or whatever happens, and then we'll screw something else up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really left the whole, we're going to have a huge fertilizer shortage because of this. We're going to, countries are running out of gas. England's running out of gas. All these countries are running out of petroleum. This is a real serious issue, and we don't, you really don't hear it on the regular news at all. You don't, because follow the money. Who owns the news organization, right? So it's all follow the money, who's feeding you, who owns the news organization, and what side are they on, and what do they want to feed you,
There's a lot of podcasts I'd rather see like at 2 hours ago that they're put up. And it's not because I think they have better information. It's because they get to the points that can understand quicker. They show the clips, and a lot of them, so I can see things a little bit better. And I don't just look, I always dabble to the other side to see what's going on, only because like it makes me laugh. It's like watching a mouse in a corner, not knowing where to go. But I don't, I like to know what's going on a little before I watch the podcast, but I can't watch the news, and because even the news sources that lean the way I lean, I'm yelling at them sometimes. You don't have to say it like that, in other words, he was body slammed when he was touched, we're going the same way. Don't embellish when it's so freaking obvious, because it makes it sound biased as it is, which sort of you're starting at a disadvantage when you deliver like that. And so the podcasters, I don't know. They can go a lot further and are, I think, at least less beholden to people. But even them, I'm not sure. I don't trust anybody, really.
Well, you got to listen to both sides. For me, I listen to both sides. I don't watch the regular media. I can't afford, let's put it this way. We have, we don't have TVs. We've got computers, and what's on a computer? You've got YouTube and a few other things out there that you can get your information. And I like to go to both sides. I've been a lifelong Republican. My grandfather worked at Republic Steels, and he went around and he organized unions through all major companies. We ended up in San Diego at Convair, which was producing airplanes to go to World War II, and he unionized that whole place. And, we've been lifelong Democrats, but at some point, they're all horrible.
Yes, they are. And you know what? Behind the scenes, they're all friends.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. It's
even back in Reagan's day. He said, after 5 o'clock, business is over and we're all hanging out.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. It's the two-headed snake.
It is.
They keep us fighting each other intentionally.
Yeah.
Like my neighborhood is a lot of extreme conservatives, and we've got a lot of liberals, but we put all that stuff aside and we look out after each other. Like in my neighborhood, me and all my neighbors, we all have gates, or half of our fences are torn down, and we're able to, go from neighbor to neighbor. And that's how it should be,
Exactly. Yes.
We can go out.
And right now it's so critical because of the war and all the division in the country that at the end of the day, if anything really hits the fan, it's the people who are 5 football fields away from your house who are only ones who are going to matter in your life, to your existence. So that's why I do big, huge community gardens. Every year I do a big, huge 200 feet long, 50-foot beds, every vegetable, the whole neighborhood eats out of them. we've got to come together, and
That's the way it should be. It's the way, it's like
Oh,
one of the worst days we've lived through was 9/11, but one of the best days was 9/12 because the country just united. Nothing mattered other than we were all together.
yeah.
we could go outside our own country's newscasts to get news now and then. I mean, beyond the BBC too, because I like seeing a whole different view of us from people that aren't us. And
Right.
I find that a little bit revealing too. I mean, without even using the world dynamics of where does this country lean in, conservative, or liberal, or whatever. But it's interesting to see the world just scratching their heads, and they is it real? What they're seeing? It's, oh my God, it's beyond belief what I hear our president saying. I mean, it's the little thing. Never mind world policy. God damn it, when you're in Graceland and they give you a tour and you're in the like private talking to people, and they talk about Elvis, and they say how good a shape he kept in, and the reply is, "Do you think I could take him? Do you think I could take him?" Because that's what he's asking the people, about that. And they go, "Hey, I hear Elvis is treated really good. You think I'm treated that good?" It's like, my God, he could relate that back to him, and that's just embarrassing off the world stage, just within our borders. But
that's how he opened up last night. I just watched 2 minutes on YouTube, and he opened up with, "And I'm here to talk about myself," and we know that, and I guess that's probably what he did, because I only get my news sources off of Substack. I like a few of the journalists that are on there. They're pretty much on the money, and that's why they're there. But that's getting a little invaded too, just like anything else. And yeah, and I don't know. There's a couple other. Common Dreams is another place where you can get some valid news stories. Al Jazeera is good, is pretty good. But for the most part, the rest of it is all, everything is a lie, everything. And so that's when you start to hear from, and this is just me, in my opinion, which I have many. But when you start listening to the leaders of other areas, and they are all coming together saying the same thing, hey, we're in deep shit here. We are. But that was planned. That was planned. And that book, Project 2025, came out how many years ago? Because I got it in the mail. Okay. So if anybody paid attention, perhaps we'd be in different shape, or not, but at least be informed,
try to be informed,
Yeah.
Yes.
Jim, even Trump would say a million times.
Ignorance is no excuse.
So what's the next question?
Those were mine.
What's your next venture? Just what you've been talking about lately?
Yeah, my Canada's social equity license in San Diego. I left San Diego because of the arrest and the cops following me around. I had been arrested. I got entrapped when I was 16 selling weed, and and then I got arrested when I was 39, and been with my partner ever since. And 9/11 happened, and we had already planned to move up to the Pacific Northwest.
Mhm.
And so we left at 9:13 or 9:14, and rented a van, and I built a little place for our queen size bed in the back, and traveled up. Every place was empty. Every campground, it was empty. It was a great trip. You know, you really got to experience everything like it was because everybody was scared to death and hunkering down in their house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this new war is pretty bad, and I don't see us getting out of it. With he really just needs to get out of it. But it's all about with military. It's all about saving face and saying who won the last war.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ducktail and get out of there for the benefit of your country, the people who voted you in, the people who pay your salary, the people who buy all the products, it's way better. That's how he got elected. He promised everybody, look, I'm gonna make things better for everybody. The economy will be cooking and this and that, and we're gonna do all this. And he abandoned all of that stuff. And now he's, implementing, who knows, his original game plan. I don't like any of them. I think they're all criminals, and we need to get rid of all of them and start off fresh.
Yeah, that's a nice dream. However, Donald Trump is not that smart. He's a dumbass. Okay, and most of us from the Jersey area, we know that. I worked 2 buildings down from him. He was not liked at all. And he kind of stays out of New York City as of recent, since he's been reelected. And I mean, come on, the election was rigged. And if anybody thinks that anything else, I don't know. I don't understand.
Look, they're all rigged. They're completely all rigged.
Yes, and I agree with you there, because there is someone above them all that are pulling the puppet strings.
And it ain't Bezos, and it ain't those guys.
No.
It's the hidden secret rich who don't want anybody to know who they are.
Yeah.
And
that's the real wealth. Yeah. We can't even see them. They make Bezos and Elon's money look weak. Who controls the banking system?
Yeah.
We don't own the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation. What's interesting is all of the things, and the Epstein files has brought all this stuff. Everybody said, oh, that's all conspiracy stuff, Pizzagate, all that stuff. Look what happened. The Epstein files were released, and everything that everybody thought that was blaming on conspiracy theories, so much of it is true. So much. Yeah. So it's pretty easy for people to say, oh, you're a wacko, you're a conspiracy theory, but not so much anymore, especially when all those things came out to be some truth to it.
Yeah.
And, as far as Pizzagate, Epstein was the king of Pizzagate. He was the fucking pizza pie maker,
Yeah. Yep. And he provided the cheese.
Yeah. So if anybody thinks all these conspiracy theories are a bunch of crazies, look, they all got proven when the Epstein files came out, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Bad to say, but true. Time to put on your own tinfoil hat and maybe accept some of those things and look into them and say, hey, we were all proven wrong. We've all said for decades that all of this stuff, all of the conspiracy theories, those people were batshit crazy, blah, blah, blah. But now it all comes to be true. So that's a pretty tough nut for people to swallow, Mm-hmm. People don't like to admit that they were wrong or got hoodwinked or any of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, when you were still in California, did you cross paths with Dave Sandamino?
No,
he's in Humboldt County. He has Sunrise Mountain Farms.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many of them down there.
Yeah, he's been there for about 20 years. I was just curious if you knew him. We've had Dave.
Yeah, there's so much drama in Humboldt. Like, I could have lived there, and I've had friends. I used to go up there and work and do electrical work, and when back in the 80s and the early 90s, and there's so much drama in those places. You could pay me to live there. Oh my God. Talk about drama. My God, it's crazy. And then me and my wife looked and we were all sold on, yeah, let's join a intentional community. What a bunch of happy horse shit that is too. It'd take you 6 months to vote on figuring out what color your new washer and dryer are going to be. You know, these communities, they get so caught up in the voting process. Everything takes for freaking ever, and they really never get anywhere. And the thing is, with the intentional communities, 90% of them, there's one guy that owns the property, and he gets to sleep with all the women. You know, I mean, it's straight out facts. I've been to a lot of these places, and you know, everybody has their own. Oh, I'm an artist. I'm a writer. Oh, I do, you know, whatever art type thing. And then there's the farmer who ends up doing all the freaking work. You know, that really blew me and my wife away. You know, we went down there. We were in Williams, and people were fighting against the Forest Service. And we went to one of those protests in Medford, Oregon, and it was at the Forestry Center. And they had the armed, just like with they had the armed government people. They knew they were coming, and they had these kids on their shoulders, and they were spewing the foulest. And you're not going to change some guy with a gun's mind. I mean, what's the even purpose of it? So me and my wife and another couple went out to the curb while they're yelling with their kids, you know, every slur in the world with their kids on their shoulder. You know, that's when we knew, look, we're not hippies, you know, we're not hippies. And I'm okay with not being a hippie. You know, we're all independent. We all get to think the way we want to think and be who we want to be. And, you know, I've seen craziness and, contradictions and stuff on both sides, so I can't even say I'm on either side. I'm an independent thinker. I kind of think as like I'm a political atheist, you know, where I'm a free thinker and I'm going to think whatever way I want because both sides are lying. They're all buddies. They're all the two-headed snake. They're either one side, and they keep us fighting against each other for a reason.
Oh, of course.
So then we can't get together and really make change. Now, both sides got to get together and brush off any kind of animosity or bad feelings or negativity. Then we could make real change in this country. Real change. Logical change. Real change. You know, my
theory is a lot
is
of egos doing that.
A lot of egos.
Yeah, that's what causes that.
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. You know, we need to. My buddy had this theory: if you get like groups of 5,000 people, and they all get together, and they community votes on things, and then that goes back to DC. They figure out what the people want, implement that, then that could be some sort of a real government. But these people get into politics. The people who get into politics were the socialites at school, the jocks and the socialites, right? They were the presidents of this and, the secretary of that. And they just followed that ladder all the way up. They did the same thing in college. And then they just moved to the next level to being a local representative or working at the state capitol, or it's the same group of folks.
Yeah, I offended my councilman. I said, "How's student council going?" And he's like, "Student council? No, this is town council." I'm like, "Student council."
Student council. Same people doing the same stupidity.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, man. Hey, do you find within the overall, I don't like to call it the cannabis activist advocacy community, but that there are certain similarities in what we were just saying within that different microcosm of
oh yeah, no
people.
doubt.
As an example, Lefty bought a 10-foot blow-up rat because, in New Jersey, a rat is somebody that turns around and stabs his own kind in the back. It doesn't matter what the issue is. That's the rat.
Right.
And so he got this rat, and we haven't been able to get a perfectly tame medical cannabis home grow bill even to be allowed for hearing because of a Senate president not allowing it to be posted for hearing. One man in the way, that's it, for 5 years, you know. So like we thought, Lefty, of course, firmly thought after the first 4 years or a little less that we would blow up this, and it's a pleasant looking rat. He's not even mean. He has more like a Bugs Bunny mouth than a rat's mouth, you know?
Right.
So our Senate president name is Scutari, and we call him Ratari, not Scutari, Ratari. And there's since then been considerable opinion within the community that this is really not a good idea because you don't want to piss him off. And I'm like, no, we give him more credit. We can piss him off all we want. We're not really that important for him to say, I was going to do it because of that rat. No deal. You know, that's
right.
Never going to happen. And I've never been able to understand that, but somehow looking at it more on a parallel track with what we're talking about, it's, I suppose, a little more easier to understand. But yeah, we definitely stand on the same side of that at Sativa Cross, that it should be, you know, and I mean, to be fair, he does hold a sign that says you shouldn't have trusted me, and you know, things like that. But
so what about the New Jersey weed man, my friend Ed whatever his name, I can't remember his last name.
Fortune. Well,
he grows weed in Trenton, and he grows it right in front of the police, and they refuse to bust him. And he harvests every November.
And he's right across from City Hall.
No F's given.
As far as, I mean, you can look right out his one-way looking mirror, more of a mirror from the outside, and view City Hall. But he's really vocal about the same things he's always been vocal about. He's been interesting I've known him. We met in 2000 when he came to a demonstration I was having out in front of Frank Palone's office in New Brunswick, and he showed up there, and he had gotten in touch with me before because you know there wasn't a lot of that kind of activity in New Jersey 2000 and before. It was like really very, very little of that going on. So his reputation preceded him as well as mine preceded me, and he got in touch with me. And it was amazing how I didn't mind that when he had his time to speak and all that. Yeah, he went and talked about what he wanted to talk about, not what he was really there to talk about. And he did it in such a way I didn't mind at all. You know, I mean, he was on point, and but he's I don't know. How would you characterize exactly what he's doing now besides just growing that?
He's running for office right again. I know that. I knew he got some money and went to Florida and lived the hipster lifestyle or whatever.
You got to join him. Adventure there way better than the one he had here. Went to really more like having a club than a cannabis club that he had here, the joint, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I got to run. Everybody have a good night. Thank you. It was great meeting you, Farmer Tom.
Nice to meet you guys too. Yeah, I've got another call at 6:00 my time also. So
all right, I'm so sorry. Take care.
Bye, Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
I mean, I've got 10 more minutes, so.
Well, good. We can do the list together. We have a list here of our friends and family that have passed on.
Well, and that were really active in the advancement of cannabis provisions, medical and regular, you know, people that were involved, and basically people are involved, their whole family's involved as is. that didn't.
What about Ryan's Law? My friend Ken Sobel and Nurse Heather wrote the original Ryan's Law. Have you guys been pushing that on the East Coast in Jersey? Now,
Sure.
Ryan's Law has to do with this kid Ryan who wanted to consume cannabis in California in the hospital.
Kenny and Heather have both been on the show, and as you know, they're personal friends of mine. So
I stayed at their house when I was down in San Diego.
I know.
For a week. It was awesome. Yeah.
I was going to mention that to you. You know, there's also a push for a cannabis nurse navigator for the hospitals, but like, you know, until Jersey's too weird, you know, and until we get off of the whole federal scheduling and get off of any DEA list, no, we're not going to see these things come to fruition that quickly, if at all. You know, I'd love to see them before I die, before I leave this earth, you know, and that would be nice. But, you know, I've been doing this, you know, since the 70s too, and I'm tired. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just, you know, I just really want to just do me, you know. Home grow in Jersey should have been passed a long time ago, but you know, obviously it hasn't been.
But can't you guys just grow in your backyard? It's legal. What legalization happened here in my area? All the neighbors said, "Oh, I didn't know you can't grow home grow." Well, why does the rich guy down the street have all these pot shops everywhere? The hell with that. I would never call the cops on you.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you guys should take that in Jersey, grow a few plants in your backyard, be an advocate for the plant, and then when they come after you, you can fucking bounce back at them and say, "Hey, look, you should be going on the thieves and the all the other issues that are going on. White collar crimes. Why don't you look at white collar crimes for the chance?"
Tom, all that stuff has been done. It's been done.
But it also doesn't work with patients who are scared that one little more movement within their life is going to knock them out of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And getting their the claws into them from the legal system is as frightening as their reason for what's going on in their life. So and that's like just grow it. Fuck it, just grow it. And for some it works, but they certainly don't make an issue of it.
No, you don't make an issue. You just do it because patients are into, like me. You know, my wife has MS. She's had it for a long time. She's not in a wheelchair. We use cannabis. She's a holistic health practitioner. We found ways that we can keep her illness. Of course, she has bad days and good days, but she's not in a wheelchair. She can walk. She can do most things. It takes her a while to get going every day. You know, we could go down the whole healthcare system and how freaking corrupt that thing is. You know, it is insanely corrupt.
Well, I just say that the answer to the question, why not just grow, is fear. And fear isn't something people decide on. They're afraid or they're not. And those are the, you know, more of the people I'm talking about. I mean, basically most aren't even going to be able to grow their own, but
exactly. I know that.
For them. And so it's not necessarily going to be all that much of a help, but it turns into if you grow a little extra and you gave it to a patient, you know, they wouldn't be afraid to do that. But by and large, the others and you know, I kind of understand it because I do know some that do, you know, and they're getting along just fine. But, you know, just, I guess because part of me is because they don't want it to happen, that doesn't want it. That's all the reason I need. I want to beat them. You know, I want to end up standing on top. And I don't mean me. I mean the patients that I've come to represent for 3 decades. Yeah. So,
No, I hear you. It's, like once you get busted, just like with Ed, you're fearless at that point. The worst thing happened to you.
You know what happens if you're a patient? and you got busted growing your own, you'd not only be in the law, you'd be out of the program. You wouldn't be a legal medical cannabis patient anymore. I mean, there's a provision, I believe, that says exactly that, because I find it so ironic, you know. And
so they have. So what do you have? Medical dispensaries?
yeah,
Yes.
well, yeah,
So they have
Sort of.
for-profit medical dispensaries.
yeah.
Tell me how
Six-
freaking criminal that shit is. Come on now.
Yeah,
That is criminal.
yeah, we
You know, they
can
should go back to our model that we had at Shelter from the Storm. You remember the old Bob Dylan song? You know, if we all hang together, we're more powerful. You know, they should. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
anyway,
crazy.
this list that Lefty's going to read, at last count, I had a count on. I swear it's 61 names. It seems to take forever.
62.
62? Oh, yeah,
Mad
yeah.
Hatter.
Yeah. Oh, that's you know. We added a dispensary to the list of those who died before its time because Lefty was podcasting from a Mad Hatter dispensary, and they're no longer a dispensary, not through, you know, through some problems with township and legalities and all that. But anyway, other than that,
they pulled their card.
Yeah, if he says that first, it's almost like a joke before the storm, the real thing, you know. And of those 61 names, he rings a bell in between the names, much like the reading of the names of the people that were in the World Trade Center when it came down, you know, with the died from that. And they read them all for September 11th and ring a bell. So just so their names are still here, you know.
That's good.
There's a
I gotta jump off, guys. I got a call that I gotta get on in a couple minutes. It's always a pleasure. If you want me back, just call me. You'll get to hear my thoughts and my perspectives. And
I don't think
some people agree, some people don't agree, but I really don't
agree.
give a fuck.
We agree.
Yeah, well, but we haven't scratched the surface with you.
Yeah, we want to scratch you some more.
I have the feeling that if it were a 24-hour marathon telecast, there wouldn't be a sound of silence in it. So,
right, that's for sure. Stu, call me whenever you want. I'll be happy to come back.
I will, Dolph. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you guys, take care. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. And thank you, CMMNJ. Thank you.
You did it.
Can I say something real fast?
Yes.
Okay. I know my daughter is on your list. But today is her birthday and she would have been 49 years old. So
Happy birthday. I'm sorry.
Honor to Lisa.
Very sorry.
Thanks.
Yeah, pause when you get to that name. Pause for a second, would you? Could you?
Well, we actually have a name to add to the list tonight, unfortunately, as well.
Okay. Go ahead.
But not yet. Thank you, CMMNJ. Thank you, UFCW, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, and SativaCross.org.
You donating.
The name we're adding tonight is Paul Robertson. If you don't know who that is, he was at all of the burn-up cleanups in Dover. We actually helped him clean up Dover. He would do this without us. He would clean up the river, clean up the breezeway, the greenway. He was 83 years old, and he was out there cleaning, picking up garbage and beer cans by himself. So we joined him in this effort. So
sounds
he's
like
on
me.
our list. Johnny, you might have met him. So I'm actually sad to add this name. So this sucks. I hate adding names to the list, but Paul is going to be on our list because he was one of the good ones. He's one of the givers, and you want to keep those people around. If you find a helper in life, you want to keep them around. So Paul was one of them.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Wherever you are.
So our list begins here with Cheryl, Sabina, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joe, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, LaWanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa,
Thank you. Thank you.
Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Waxy, Joe Marie, Paul, and Jeff. This list sucks.
We miss them all.
Okay, good night, guys.
Thanks,
Right.
Sue. Thanks,
Good night,
Bob.
everybody.
All right.
See you for Cannabis Church on Easter Sunday.
My birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday in advance.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Toodaloo, suckers. See you next time. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.